Hey guys, I'm Scott Stevenson. I'm a cinematographer and gaffer here in Los Angeles. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about and doing a little bit of a comparison of Brokeh diffusion and Brokeh gels. What is Brokeh? I was thinking the exact same thing when I first saw it. I had no idea what Brokeh was, and I feel like a lot of cinematographers and also gaffers have no clue what Brokeh is, how to use it, what it's for, anything like that. I'm going to answer some of those questions in this video and kind of show you what the different diffusions look like. I'm going to talk about how much light each one cuts, how you can use them in your workflow. A buddy of mine, Aleksei, he invited me out to the Dito light store where we met up with Sean, and Sean was nice enough to kind of show us some of the Brokeh cloth and different gels and things like that, diffusions, show us each one of those, and we did a test of each of the different diffusion materials as well as the different type of facial gels that Brokeh makes. So let's jump in and take a look at what the samples look like. So the first diffusion that Sean showed us was this Rose Garden, which has like a lot of rosy pink and purplish type of colors in the pattern. I really liked this one. It looked really natural, and I really like what it was doing with the skin.
Yeah, what matters more is what you had mentioned too.
What I see right now is with the glasses on, and I don't see the source in your glasses.
Correct, and that's
amazing.
It becomes important.
Yeah.
So
but you're saying, like, with the different diffusion, you will see the source?
Yeah, definitely. One thing that we wanted to point out is when you notice by looking into Aleksei's glasses here, that the reflection is neutralized and almost camouflaged. You don't see the source, and that's really important if you've ever shot any sort of tabletop stuff of like a wine glass or any sort of flatware or dinnerware or anything like that that can reflect back, or you're shooting a car commercial, something like that that's going to have like a shiny object, or somebody's wearing glasses like this example, you're going to look and you're going to see the source, you're going to see the key light, and this kind of camouflages that, and it's a really unique feature of this diffusion cloth.
Then you have what looks more like scattered light coming through a window, because there's some objectivity to the design. There's a pattern to engage with, at least. So the starkness of a white diffuser tends to disappear more and have a more natural environmental.
So next up, we took a look at the Santa Fe, and the Santa Fe seems like it's a bit warmer. It has some more like red tones in it, and it almost kind of makes it feel a little bit more tungsten. But the big thing between all of these different rags is they don't give a color cast. So if you hold up a white piece of paper between them, supposedly you're still going to get, you know, true white. Your white balance shouldn't be affected too much, but to the eye it looks definitely a little bit warmer. Next up was the New York Flat. And the New York Flat is definitely our favorite of all of them. I feel like it just looks the most neutral and like just, I don't know, the most pleasing of all of them. The colors are really nice. The diffusion is really nice. It's definitely our favorite. I'm gonna do a comparison between all of them here in a minute and show you what they all look like, and you can decide for yourself which one you think is your favorite. But this one right here is the New York Flat. Has the same characteristics as the other ones as far as hiding or disguising, camouflaging the source. So here's a quick look at all of the different examples, so you can just see all of them on screen for a minute. And then in the top right there, I have just the key light with 2 stops of ND applied, just so that we can match the exposure, because these rags, I would say they cut about 1.5 stops or almost 2 stops of light. This is kind of what we noticed, kind of what we measured. So next up, we went through and we did the same tests with the same rags, but instead of shooting into them, we were bouncing into the rags. So we set up our key light on the opposite side, which would be camera right, and we bounced into the diffusion cloth on the left hand side of the frame. And we got this return, which looked very, very pleasing, looked quite amazing. You can see for yourself here in these examples. And here is the Santa Fe, which we have the exact same setup, and we're bouncing here into the Santa Fe. And to me, to my eye, it looks a little bit darker, maybe even more than 2 stops, I would say. I feel like it cuts quite a bit more light here in this bounce setup. It seems just a bit darker. None of these have been changed. I didn't change the exposure or the intensity of the light whatsoever throughout these tests. And here's the rose garden, also a really pleasing look. I feel like you get quite a bit more of a return from the bounce using this rose garden than you do from the Santa Fe. Fairly similar to the same exposure you would get with the New York, I would say. So here's a side-by-side comparison of all of the different diffusion cloths with the bounce setup, bouncing into the diffusion cloths. So next up, we moved on to these enhancement gels. They're not really like diffusion in the same way as they were kind of described to us by Sean as a gel. And they look quite interesting with these like rainbow patterns. I'll put some up on the screen later so you guys can take a look. So we started off, here's the facial enhancement key. And I guess one of the main features of this enhancement key is it kind of contours the face and shapes around the nose, almost to, I guess the best way to describe it is as if somebody was taking a match in front of your nose and the light from the match is wrapping around the face. So in this example, we're showing the facial anamorphic key, and the facial anamorphic key has some very unique attributes to it as well. And I feel like this is something that you would want to use on models or any sort of female actor that's going to be on screen. It's going to help to make their cheeks a little rosier, maybe their lips a little bit look better, maybe hide some wrinkles. I feel like this is probably the most useful tool out of these different gels, in my opinion. Here we have the facial enhancement fill, which is like a series of different circles that are kind of like RGB, like green and red, different circles that kind of blend together and create this diffused light that has different colors that kind of merge together to create white, from what I understand. And this is their fill light, which is kind of just like a, like what a fill would be. It doesn't really specially contour to the face in the same way that the key does, but this is the result you get from it. So here's an example of what it looked like without any gels on the light whatsoever. Our light mat that we were using was at 50%, stayed at 50% throughout the whole time, and without any gels, it was noticeably brighter. I would say 2 stops brighter. And what I ended up doing is I put a 0.6 ND on to compensate, to be able to get similar exposure as what I was getting with these gels over the lights. So just so you can have an idea, here's with the gel applied. And again, here's a side-by-side comparison of all of the different gels. So you can just maybe pause the video, take a look here, and up in the right-hand corner is going to be the key light with that 0.6 ND, just so you can get a base. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully that was helpful in some way and you got a better idea of what Brokeh is and how you can kind of use it in your own work. I know there's not a whole lot of information about it on the internet or on YouTube or kind of anywhere. So hopefully more people start to try it out and make reviews about it and talk about it, because it's definitely a really cool thing for our industry, and I'm excited to use it more on some of my projects. If you guys have any questions, I'm still learning about it myself, but feel free to ask. You can leave me a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, I'll leave Sean's information over at Light, California. He's very knowledgeable about everything, and I'm sure he can answer some of your questions as well. And also the creator of Brokeh, I'm sure can answer a lot of questions as well. I'll try to link his information down below if I can find it. Also, Aleksei, I'll leave his information down below. He's a very talented Steadicam operator, and he's got a couple different Instagram accounts, so I'll leave those down below so you guys can check them out. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I make videos just like this one. And once again, I'm Scott Stevenson. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out my past videos as well as subscribe to see my future ones. Peace.